All right. Well, I woke up to what sounds like a bit of a shit show.
Oh gosh. Another one?
Well, I think it's the same one.
Okay. What shit show did you wake up to, Brian?
Give me a second. I'll tell you exactly what it is. It sounded something like this.
Are people huffing copium or something? What?
The tea kettle.
I did not get tea kettle from that at all.
Really? Okay. I'm gonna get it. All right. Friday. Right.
Okay.
I sent you a bit of an update. I sent Ross the same one. It sounds like this weekend was a bit of a shit show. I want to give you sort of my position on it, just so that
I
don't know if anyone kind of speaking on my behalf. I'm not particularly concerned with what happens with the PPO or Alana. Just to make it very clear.
Okay.
I personal opinion. And I'm gonna give you some information just in case it hasn't already come your way. After there's like about 25 individuals down in the cells, coming off of what was, I think you were part of it. Were you not part of that massive operation?
Yes.
You were?
I was in group 4. Yeah, we got a suspect. We got the driver in custody and the vehicle.
Okay.
In our group.
So, I believe 2 individuals were being interrogated. That's what we were down there for. Sounds like a bank truck popped off. Or was it either a bank truck or like a gang-related shooting, something along those lines. By the time I came to see what the commotion was, there was a lot of screaming and maybe like 311s. The entire fucking jail cell area was just littered with cops. Once again, probably as a consequence of the amount of individuals that were down there for the operation.
Right, that makes sense.
Future and Forehead were in the same cell. So it wasn't until afterwards, and I would say like Saturday morning, around the time I put that announcement out, that I came to realize what had happened, right? Alana being effectively bamboozled with shackles. And,
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
I heard.
Now, that having been said, McQuillan gets shot down. I think there was another officer that was down as well. Once they received medical, we see over 311 that McQuillan is in very serious shape. I don't recall if it was like a 311 or a radio, but upon getting to CMC, there was a number of individuals watching over him as he was getting surgery. Now this is the bit that I'm gonna lay it out like this. Over in the corner, you can imagine about like 6 to 8 officers. Myself, 2 marshals. I believe Opal was there. Daisy maybe. But that weapon registry for Alana was updated as a consequence of a phone call from Maxwell to Alana. Now, I don't think this really changes anything as far as my opinion. But I have photos of the MDT. Now, how did I come to notice this is as I'm recognizing the gravity of what had just transpired, it very quickly went from just another situation down in the cells to, hey, McQuillan may not make it. Upon seeing that there was 3 unregistered weapons, I began to document. Why? Because the question was, who are these 3 undocumented guns? The report started to update. The updates included Alana reviews and Hobbler. And I think the 3rd may have been McQuillan, if I'm not mistaken. I noticed this because the undocumented guns initially were highlighted in red, and they're at the bottom of the casing sheet. And then all of a sudden, that's not the case, right? Upon looking at Hobbler's report, I noticed that it was undocumented, right? I then noticed the Alana one. And as I pulled up the Alana one, I noticed that it was being updated in real time. Upon calling Alana, I came to the realization that Maxwell was on the call with her. The reports indicate that a senior officer is the one that had handled it. That is not entirely the case. Now, the reason I highlight this is I don't necessarily take umbrage to any of that. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if we have, undocumented casings, we got to figure out who it is.
Right.
Hobbler was subsequently suspended for 7 days, reducible down to 3 if there's an explanation, and he shows that he's learned a lesson, right? Start heavy and then pull back. Sparks has also been suspended 48 hours. She tried to unilaterally release future Hendricks, and she had a bit of a she was acting extremely out of line. Correct.
Okay.
I swiftly suspended her for 48 hours. That's why Blunt's going to be taking number 1, and I think I'm going to have Vale take number 2 on the future Hendricks case.
Okay.
The thing that may come into question, and this is kind of why I'm highlighting all of this, is there was a bit of a debate as to why is Future getting charged when Future is not the one that shot McQuillan. The position that I have, as Blunt has, as the majority of us marshals had, regardless of
isn't the writing of the attempted murder of a government or the murder of a government employee charge different than quite literally any of the other charges, like the leading to portion? It's an intentional act that leads to the death of a government employee.
Yes.
That is...
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, personally, I'm not a huge fan of this.
But I mean, let's be honest. If felony murder existed, this would fall squarely under that.
You and I are completely eye to eye on this. And that's exactly it. Now, just to be fully transparent, Spark sort of... I think we wanted to attach her to the case. I've been trying to get her off prosecution for a while. She needs a damn break. She spent too much time dealing with, the shit show over the past 5 weeks or whatever, and I think it's kind of gotten to her a bit. She's also done other things that are out of line, but she kind of walked up and she was like, we overheard her talking to DOC to release Future, and we're like, what the fuck are you doing? I believe...
When was DOC involved in this?
Well, DOC is handling Future because he was up on a hold, right?
Oh, wait, I thought you meant Sparks was trying to,
release Future
negotiate,
Hendricks.
In the cells.
No. Sorry.
Oh,
No.
Okay.
He was already sent up while McQuillan was getting surgery.
Got it. Okay.
This is actually after we had learned he had passed. And the underlining argument was, well, Future didn't shoot him, a PPO did. And the reason we knew it was a PPO is very swiftly Rosner and I forgot his name, lieutenant of the BCSO had come and let us know that that's what the forensics pointed at. So Sparks almost like immediately. Now, mind you, Sparks had sort of come at the tail end of things and was sort of looking at very hyper focused on God knows what, which is a problem that we're working on with her. But I think at the moment she heard it was PPO without any other context, she sort of just decided that she wanted to release future Hendricks. She rambled on about something. And then she said, well, I'm not going to prosecute. I said, get the fuck off duty, bitch. I'm not going to have anyone start screaming in the middle of the hospital and sort of act outside of the directive of command. I think there is, and I'm giving you this context because this is important for us, I think, collectively, right? I don't want to be hiding these things because I want you to know how my own marshals operate so that, you know, if you see the behavior, you can let me know as well so I can help sort of resolve it. It sort of came down to this, right? The argument is, well, Future didn't shoot him, so therefore he walks, and as we both agreed, this is felony murder. He created a situation by shooting a cop, and a cop was friendly fired, but that doesn't mean that Future gets to walk free, right? If the DOJ decides that's the case, well, that's their prerogative, but we're going to operate based on, you know, the probable cause and the good faith argument that we can put forward. Furthermore, in regards to, that's when the conversation of back and forth happened with not just her but some others as well, sort of wanting to point fingers at both Alana and the PPO. Alana's gun being unregistered, as far as I'm concerned, is bad. I think that more points as a cross-departmental laxness around these things being a culprit.
Yep, agreed.
Alana not being overseen as a PPO during the processing, I think, plays a role. I think the fact that there wasn't good scene control and there was a lot of like FOMO leading to that many officers in the cells was a part of the issue. The PPO opening fire, it's a fucking PPO. Like, the guy probably doesn't have, I don't know why they've got class 2s to begin with in these situations. That's a whole nother matter, and my just kind of my personal take is like,
real quick on that. Opal brought that up earlier, and is I think likely going to push for if stuff's happening at Mission Row, it's not just immediate class 2 authorization, because if something is happening at Mission Row, the likelihood that you're in close quarters is going to be very high, and should instead be a command approval type situation, because let's be honest, if people aren't using their class 2 all that often, they hear something is happening at Mission Row, kind of what you said regarding FOMO, they're going to pull out their class 2 for probably what's going to be one of the first times they ever have.
Yeah.
And then we end up in this situation.
Yeah. And
so that's definitely something that's actively being looked at regarding pushing for changes to hopefully ensure that something like that doesn't happen again.
Okay. Yeah. And I think for me, the biggest concern having gone off duty Friday is the PPO and Alana being pointed at and them seeing the repercussions, and then it just kind of ends there. I think systematically, I think there needs to be change. And I don't think any department is absent of the changes that are needed. Just strong standards.
I think regarding the...
Go
ahead. You go.
Strong standards are what cause these situations to be preventative. And, you know, if it wasn't the PPO, it could have been someone else, right? If it wasn't Alana, it could have been someone else, right? And this is not to say that there isn't, I'm advocating for them not to be punished. That's not my prerogative. It's just, you know, we need to take a close look at what occurred here and was it preventative, right? I mean, even down to the unregistered weapons. Like,
from my understanding, I'm assuming, and I can't say this for certain, I'm assuming the Alana situation or weapon registry stemmed from Her originally being fired, there being a weapon registry. But like the moment she was rehired, whoever onboarded her should have ensured that there was an active weapon registry. And when I say weapon registry, it is outlined in our SOPs and is up to date. And I know this because I have referenced them as of recent. I went through and I ensured all of my shit. This was a few weeks ago. Made sure everything was in order, followed the appropriate format.
Yeah.
And don't forget, a lot of the weapons I use to this day were issued to me the day I was fucking hired. In December of what? Was it 23? 20, was it 23? 24? 20? I don't fucking know.
It was a while ago.
We'll say
yeah.
23. Yeah, it was a while ago. And there were no weapon registries originally. But I make sure every single time. I'm not going to explain it, but everyone should have a weapon registry.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. If you have to replace your gun before going to a 78, you're still do the weapon registry. It's got bigger impacts too.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
We could realistically never tie the gun back. It might fuck a murder over. Like this is, I mean, I remember going back. You couldn't even borrow someone's gun. I still believe in that. You need the traceability.
I agree.
An exception might be, say, like a sniper rifle because of the hyper uniqueness of it, right?
I mean, even then, like, I'm a be real. If I was in a car and I didn't have a class 2 and we are going against individuals with class 2s and range is an issue, you know what the fuck's gonna happen, Brian? I'm taking a photo. I'm taking a photo of the fucking serial of the gun just in case anything were to happen.
Well, there you go. At least it's a preventative measure, right?
And like I said, that's like, I'm gonna be honest. I have my shotgun with me at all times, but like everything's in the weapon registry. And also, if it gets stolen, I have the serial. Not only do I have the serial, I've got casings and projectiles in the evidence locker, so we can compare if it were to be stolen, whether or not new instances have come up regarding that specific gun. Why that shit slipped through the cracks, I don't know. Obviously, being the chief of police, I take responsibility, and I'm going to ensure that everyone does have an active weapon registry. Doesn't change the past. Realistically, I'm not going to deem it a non-issue, but it has no relation, in my opinion, to the follow-up things that occurred resulting in McQuillan's death.
Exactly,
because those are very separate things. For what it's worth, Alana is being fired.
Do you want Frost here?
He can come here. Yeah. Alana's being fired for a variety of different things. It's not any one thing. Obviously, she's been fired in the past, and in addition to that, she's been a PPO for way too long. Like, we're talking months. We don't. If you're a PPO, the expectation.
Are you aware that she's been hired multiple times since 2024?
I remember she was hired. She was fired, and then when Pred became chief, she was hired again. That's the only knowledge I have of her firing, or her hiring, rather. No, I'm unaware.
Yeah, so I'm only pointing that out, that there's probably unregistered weapons, or this is because I know this specifically because she originally was when I was in BCSO. No, I was in LSPD, Captain, when she was hired, and she threw a fit at the BCSO office over something. I don't remember what that something was, but it was hyper out of line. And I told her to run a lap, which she refused, which I then subsequently suspended her for 2 hours desk duty for, to which she threw a fit, and it turned into, why is Brian suspending someone over blah, blah, blah. I remember that rather vividly because that's when I left for 30 days because I said, fuck this shit.
Got it. Okay.
Now, the reason I bring that up is there ain't no way that that was the only gun that's left unregistered. Further, you know, as a part of the gun registry, we have to put the serial number in manually. Otherwise, it doesn't stick. The title is updated. I can tell you for certain, because what was relayed to me this morning was that the gun registry was due to scuff, that's just functionally impossible. Because even if some things were removed, it does not account for all the weapons that were added.
By the way, removing them, I don't think actually pulls them. All of my stuff's still in there.
It does. Well, it's flaky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I can, because I
if
just
you put
referenced
it
mine.
in-
Even my shotgun, I put it in. It registered. I also separately did casings and projectiles, but despite the fact that it's on me, it's still the way it was documented by the locals. It's still in there under weapons.
So that bit can be flaky. So if you put it into the evidence locker, it will attach as evidence, but oftentimes it will also remove, which I think is intended by the local registry guys, because you might be moving it from a report to an incident or any number of things.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But the reason I bring that up is a scuff argument is just very unlikely, including the details of what I saw get updated. It was 3 separate weapons. But once again, I'm not bringing this up to say fuck Alana. This is more of, if she was unregistered, who else was unregistered, right?
Yeah.
Hobbler, I still need to chat with as to what the fuck his gun is unregistered for, let alone McQuillan. Like, it's just, it should not have taken a death to have that figured out, right?
Yeah, I agree. Take a
What's going
seat,
on,
Frost.
Hey, good to see you, Rhodes.
You feel free to speak up. It's finally soundproof, Frost.
Oh, thank God. Jesus Christ, this place made me feel weird. So we can shout?
Yeah.
Perfect.
You might hear people from outside. They can't hear us.
That's fine. That's fine.
So yeah, we were just discussing the weapon registry stuff, which sort of kind of blows my mind, because there was a weapon registry audit a while ago. Actually, Alana wouldn't have been hired during that time, now that I think about it.
I feel weaponry registry audits are... It's a tough thing to audit, right? Because... Oh, no, never mind. Never mind.
I'm going to be honest. If we need a list of every firearm purchased and by who from the armory, that's not difficult for us to obtain.
No, I was about to say they're difficult to audit, but I meant in a... It actually doesn't help the situation. It's like people might have like...
Bruce, audit every single SASM Marshal's weapon registry with their name, as well as if it has been registered and when the last time it's been registered.
Confirm. I'll get straight on it.
If anyone is found to be unregistered, 24-hour suspension pending. They have a discussion with me.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
All right, bye.
Guys, am I going to feel out of place not making an immediate call?
Hey, Maeve,
I'm just
could
gonna
you do me a favor? I need you to audit every single BCSO weapon registry, and if you find someone who doesn't have a registered weapon, suspend them for 24 hours. All right, thank you.
Hey, Maxwell, how you doing? I am going to need you to speak with either the captains or lieutenants of their respective shifts. I want a weapon registry audit for all 3 shifts. I will deal with shift 3. I'll speak with Maple regarding that. But if you can speak with Dean and King and whatnot, if they need to sort of split the load, or, you know, I need these things looked into to make sure. Oh, it's already being done? Oh, okay. Perfect.
Fucking
Perfect. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Awesome. Thank you very much, Maxwell. I appreciate it. All right. Bye.
Oh, 1 second, it's me. Hello? Yeah, yeah. All shifts, if you'd be so kind. Mm-hmm. Do it from that, right? From that date. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye. Oh, and all PPOs, be like, I know you did it a month ago, right? But around a month ago is when we enabled PPOs to have class 2s. So audit every PPO regardless of the date, because they could have registered a new weapon or bought a new weapon since, right? All right. Thank you, mate. And then literally, don't fuck around. If someone doesn't have their weapon registered, just kick them off duty straight away. All right. Thank you. Sorry about that.
All right.
Maeve did it a month ago, but
I have a crazy idea. I want y'all to think about this instead of just immediately agreeing. But we have 3 departments, right? But some of these like little things like weapon registries sort of have cross-departmental effects. I hate dealing with it. I'm sure y'all might feel somewhat similar. Maybe there's some things that we can collectively agree on, that if certain things are done, we just maybe work together to fix it. Whether it's like weapon registries, whether it's something as simple as, you know, like profile updates, whatever the small hanging fruit might be.
How dare you suggest we work together? How dare you?
Yeah, we need to work together, goddammit. This shit is not interesting.
I can't believe that's a suggestion.
Oh man.
It's bad that it's gotten to this point, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like some of what I heard happened this weekend, and I'm just going off reports. There's like fucking 3 reports on Alana.
Yeah.
This is too much bullshit over nothing. Like, the death is important, not the rest of this. Let me rephrase. McClellan's death is is a central point here, as far as I'm concerned, and this extends to the dog shit announcement that Ruth made. I noticed
did she tell
that.
you I had a conversation with her?
No, I just went to go see if the report was made. I saw some shit announcement. I moved it to IAA. I wrote one myself after Springfield gave me a dog shit response, and now they're going to emotional training. Probably ran by.
I told Ruth she needs sensitivity training.
Yeah, and she put fucking emojis in it. I was pissed.
Brian, it didn't have the emojis before, and I said, I texted her. Actually, hold on. Let me just find my text with Captain Ruth. I said, Ruth, people don't like your announcement of McQuillan. They feel it lacks emotion. She calls me and she goes, what do you want me to do? And I was like, Ruth, the one sentence McQuillan is dead is not like, that's not good. And she's like, okay, I fixed it. I look back, it's got 2 emojis. And I said, Ruth, you need sensitivity training. Like, you cannot be the one.
I had to explain to her that a crying emoji in this day and age doesn't mean you're sad. It's like the equivalent of the skull emoji. It's like, you know, if you send me a text like, hey, Frost, Maxwell committed terrorism, I'd reply like crying emojis, but I'm not crying. It's like a skull face, but like not, you know.
Yeah,
I did teach her this. I did teach her this.
Yeah, but still the one sentence. And it, honestly, Brian, you're going to fucking probably hate me for saying this, okay? But in that moment, Ruth was giving Bill Mays in the very literal aspect. Like, Bill's level of pedantic was so literal.
We do not compare Ruth to Bill Mays.
No, I agree with you. You don't have to. Listen, it was my fucking day off, and I had to write the announcement myself because 2 of my fucking command members wanted to make a joke out of a dead colleague. If they were not able to solve this problem themselves, and the director has to solve it, big problems. So both of them are going to sensitivity training, and learning that if they are unable to accomplish a task, they will communicate that immediately. Otherwise, they will face my wrath. So
got it. Okay, so your department is dealing with a lack of weapon registries being filled out in addition to needing sensitivity training. Cross-department is dealing with the crossfire situation, and my department is dealing with the weapon registry thing, the Alana thing,
dude, I can't wait.
Yeah, I know. I'm just,
Knight wakes up and he's like, "You're going to sense. We're gonna set something up in the morning.
Can make things better." And just a heads up, my expectation is that this doesn't leave this room. I intend on there being some fairly drastic changes in the LSPD here in the near future.
Well, why?
Well, if I'm being honest, I'm not liking the general structure. I really hate this multi-captain thing for each shift, and shift 3 doesn't even have a captain. So I'm likely going down the route of a single captain each shift, no commander. So chief, ask chief, 3 captains, and then lieutenants and sergeants for each shift, but not be this like super top heavy entity that's not looking so hot right now.
Didn't fix it.
But what do you mean Bean didn't fix it? Was he supposed to be the fixer of all things?
Yeah.
Bean was promised full control over shift 1 changes with the captain role, but if we're going to be truthful here, as much as I like to give him shit, he probably wanted to see some, he probably took the role more as a change of atmosphere. I wouldn't hold that against him.
So you're essentially planning to take the BCSO structure and then place it into the LSPD, right?
Huh?
Well, 3 captains, an arse chief, and a chief, right?
I'm unpredding the roster.
I mean, it works.
I know. That's why. But listen, considering the amount of people currently in those positions, there's probably going to be a fairly drastic change that happens pretty quickly. And people might not be the best of, might not take it the best. So, Frost,
this is where you have to put your foot down. I walked into the BCSO roads and I made every single person a deputy. And you want to know the craziest thing? I was still wearing it was a mistake. I was still wearing an LSPD uniform when I did it, Rhodes.
I also heard that you wanted to fire the PPO and then it turned into a class 2 cert removal.
Well, it's turned into a lot more than that. My initial response was to fire the PPO, but I was shooting from the hip with no context, speaking with people who weren't involved.
Yeah.
Oh, that never goes well.
More has happened than a class 2 cert removal. The guy is a cadet. He's lost his rank. He has to go through full retraining, including full firearm retraining. He isn't allowed a class 2 cert back until he is a full officer. And he has to be signed off by a therapist to make sure he's even in the right state of mind to be in law enforcement anymore.
Okay, that's good. I'll kind of relay what I told Rhodes here before you arrived. From my perspective, Alana and the PPO are not the core issue. It's more a cultural standards issue that even led to this situation.
The deep-rooted issue is, and like, there's no animosity at this table, right? The deep-rooted issue is what has annoyed me. Obviously, losing a good friend is annoying, but it's the fact that, like, this isn't a one-off. This isn't like, oh, Future robbed a gun and it all went chaotic. This is like the 4th or 5th incident where the bestie / future have somehow ended up with a firearm and law enforcement officers hostage within the MRPD holding cells. Now, the situation is like, okay, did Alana make a mistake? No. Alana's been a cop for 2 years. She's definitely dealt with future Hendricks. And like, you just open up the guy's profile. It's all gone now for some reason.
I removed it because it was just reiterating the same shit over and over.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? It was reiterating the same thing over and over. Don't uncuff future. Don't put him in the big cell. Don't leave him alone. Don't put him out of cuffs. And the reason it was reiterated so many times is because it happened so many times, and it was on there 3-4 times to ensure it didn't happen. And then guess what? It happened again.
Well, the tricky part is it specifically said something like, if he's in a cell with someone, don't soft cuff him or blah, 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 or whatever the fuck it was. Straight up, if that man has taken advantage multiple times, he should only be in cuffs. Can't be trusted. End of story.
Well, that's what one of the things said.
No? The thing is, though, look, you might not know this, Rhodes. I am not the biggest proponent for Alana. But I find it. Who the fuck is looking at a damn profile before they put someone in the cells?
Well, they should, because they need to look at their profile.
Right?
Yeah.
No, you need to open their profile to see if there's DNA on there, to see if they have a mugshot. And the mugshot's important because obviously the cappening, if you will, tons of people don't have mugshots that previously did, right? And it's just sort of standard procedure, right? Like, you bring people to the mugshot room, you fingerprint them just as even if you've run into this person over and over and over again, it is for the sole purpose of a surefire way of identifying someone and not fucking up someone. You're not going to confuse future with anyone else. He's too loud and obnoxious. But procedurally, the standard is we bring them there, we fingerprint them, we look up their profile, see that it matches, make sure that someone doesn't now have a tattoo covering their whole fucking face. Because if so, we need to update their mugshot to reflect that, or add an additional one in the notes section somewhere beneath.
I fully agree with you. However, and this is kind of what I'm pointing at is, and I don't want y'all to take this the wrong way, but after tsunami, that procedure does not exist. I think across all 3 departments. There may be claims of it. There may be some individuals that do, but the majority will not do that.
Yeah, I've never done it. I'll hold my hands up.
So there
But that's a starting point. Like,
it is. And if that's what we want to do, I'm super on board in normalizing that. It is, and I don't want to make too much of an excuse for post-tsunami, but it's a shit show, right? The amount of crime from post-tsunami till I'd say roughly 8 to 9 p.m. is like double, triple the amount compared to any other hour. And as a consequence, shortcuts are taken.
Is it because we're worn thin, though? Like, is that the issue?
I think it's like multi-pronged, right? And I think you're going to get a lot of different answers as to why. It might be...
They can all be valid.
There's missions, right? The faceless stuff, or like, whatever's about to pop off in about 2 hours and 15 minutes, right? On top of that, you've got the bank trucks. On top of that, you got the gang-related shootings. The reality is that pre-tsunami is quiet as fuck now, which is why a lot of my marshals aren't around. I had a big I had a 3-hour command meeting yesterday with my staff, and they were talking about all kinds of X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, brother, there's like 70 people on the damn train, like pre-tsunami. Like, it's a different atmosphere. They just ain't got shit to do. They got nothing to investigate. The fuck are they going to do, right? That's why they're doing moonshine, right?
But is this a matter of slowing people down and telling them, before you respond, like, you just got to finish what you're doing? And yes, there might be a 78, but like, if you don't get this done, like, not only is it going to reflect poorly on you, it's going to reflect poorly on the department if and when these things come to light.
What you just said right there, slowing it down, is exactly what I was thinking to myself before I arrived. That is That is the problem right there, is we've forgotten, and I don't know why, and I'm not aware of any directives over this, is that if a fucking bank truck is hit and we don't have the capacity because we still got a scene to clean up and properly process, we just can't go to the bank truck, right?
I think this is that's a very valid point, right? This is what I've seen a lot of. We don't, yeah, you're right. We don't have to stretch ourselves thin. Like, we don't have to. The thing is, people will always try to, though, right? Like, you want to get the hostage, you want to make sure people are okay, but we do often do that.
I mean, straight up, I'm guilty of it. If I'm processing someone and something's popping off, at minimum, the evidence is going in the report, as in like the physical evidence, if they have a gun, whatever, and I will add the photos, I will add my statement afterwards. And sometimes, straight up, that will just fall by the wayside because something else then arrives, and then it's completely out of my my mind in the slightest. It doesn't even exist anymore. I'll get on duty the next day and just be like, oh, I forgot to do this, and then write up the report or whatever. But even sometimes that skips my mind.
You see, I'm actually I do forget to do a lot of things. I'm actually the opposite when it comes to like evidence. I mean, because I'm the same, right? If I don't upload my photos and statement and put the evidence there and then, I will forget and I just won't do it. So I force myself to do it every time.
And if we don't do that, and I'm not advocating we do what I'm about to say, I'm just using this as a talking point. 3 years ago or whatever, I put a standard in place where things were simpler back then, right? It was unified police department. The standard in shift 2, and it slowly got put into shift 1 as well. And shift 2 at the time was the prime time, right?
Yep.
I made it clear that if you are on the scene, I don't care if you picked up, as long as you aren't attaching unit. Once the suspects were down in the cells, you're marching your ass down to the cells. Even if you don't have a suspect, you're going to ask the scene lead, who is managing all the 95s. Their job is not to process. Their job is to manage the processing of the 95s. Hey, these are the charges for him. These are the charges for him. These are the charges for him, right? And you ask them, hey, do you need me? Right? And that's an opportunity for them to say, okay, hey, did you put your statement in? We're going to need that. They're going to bench, right?
Right.
And upon that, you can now go out. Now, did it result in inefficiency because more people are in the cells? No, it did the opposite. The opposite was because those 6 or so individuals that are down there with the 95s now have the proper set of charges. It's less likely it's going to bench trial. If it does go to bench trial, everything is already, in the bag. As a consequence, I think, of where we're sort of on the opposite end of the spectrum now, generally speaking, which is the least amount of individuals split between 2 to 3 locations. Not everyone's on the same page with charges. Things are missing, and now 3 or 4 individuals are carrying the weight of 8. And that is just going to add to their exhaustion.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to get back on the field. They're going to do half the work. Right? They're going to be stressed out. They might take it out on the damn suspects. Right? They may stop showing up on duty. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big contributor, I think, to burnout as well, right? Like,
you're definitely not wrong. It's actually so fucking frustrating when you're, say, a support unit, or a support unit is taking photos of a vehicle that got disabled, and you have to sit and beg for these people to put these photos in, because they brought the vehicle to mission row after taking photos, immediately back out on a pursuit and say a street race.
Instead of the 30 seconds to just add it right then and there.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
And even a statement, like, how long does that take? 5 minutes? Might take someone 15 because they got X and Y reason. Once you get used to it, that shit is like, snap of the fingers, unless you were a big part of that scene.
I think people are kind of just out of practice. And once it becomes the norm, what should already be the norm realistically, I think you're right. It becomes more efficient in that aspect.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely on board with changes regarding that. It doesn't necessarily have to be like it doesn't have to be a written announcement. It could, but like even discussions during meetings and stuff, and pushing people and speaking with command to push this, so that people don't think it's just I'm being told to do this and no one else has to do it and blah blah blah, and I want to respond to this call. But like if we're all on that same page, I think that's a massive net benefit for PD.
Yeah.
To not have to deal with the additional like begging people to fucking put in reports. And it's now I think the McQuillan situation is actually a prime example, because from my understanding there were people who didn't put in reports. And how many of those people fell under the category of like were originally involved in something else, were going 42, didn't realize the actual death of McQuillan had occurred until it was too late, and then only found out a day or two after when they clocked back on duty.
Yeah.
This situation, right? So wait, now are you talking?
No.
Oh, your lips was moving. So let's not beat around the bush, right? Alana was negligent. My cadet was negligent. The situation, however, though, is deep rooted, right?
This is a good conversation.
Why were there 13 people shooting one individual with class 2s who was locked in a cell? That's an issue. The second issue, there was no command there. No one was actually leading it. Like, Alana did what she did. And Miguel, unfortunately, also did what he did. Both PPOs, right?
Yep.
How was there 13 people? Like, holy fuck. It's like a, what's it called? You know when you kill someone in prison? Like a firing squad. With class 2s with a guy who had a pistol. No command. Like there was, it just, I feel like if we have 13 people in a room, marshals, LSPD, and BCSO, right? All three parties were there. Something is going wrong.
Does anyone know if there was any attempt at negotiation?
I don't really know shit.
I overheard some of it sitting way in the back because there's so many individuals. So kind of in case this was missed here, Frost, the majority of individuals that were at Mission Row were dealing with a completely unrelated scene.
Yeah. Yep.
And by the time I arrived, and I would like to think the majority of folks arrived, is that Future was already in the big cell with Forehead. Right?
Yeah, so I know how that happened.
So,
right?
but just real quick, is that I don't know who actually led the scene that led to them in the cells, right?
Oh, the scene prior, right?
Correct. And this is kind of, I would like to point back at, maybe this does need to be written. Maybe it, because we don't really have it defined. Everything is very by the, we've been around long enough, especially you and I, Rhodes, but I mean, Frost, you're not, all that far behind, is we have our own perception of what a scene lead is. I don't think necessarily in our minds, but not without it being on paper, it's up to everyone's own interpretation of what they want it to be, right?
So, just to clarify, just to add on to your point, it looks like this was a gang shooting at the Vault between Mana and Besties, I believe. It looks like Sol, one of my PPOs, was leading the scene.
Yeah.
At the Vault. The only people who I can see involved, I mean, like Ricky Dallas was there. There was obviously some captains and high command on the scene.
Even that, but like the original scene is irrelevant, or more so like the actual,
and then the actual
cells.
scene in the cells. So Rayvon G. Black's statement states where was it? So he was leading the scene. It looks like whatever the negotiations were was Alana Reviews had a gun stolen. Officer Black then took command of the situation and issued a negotiator to begin talking with the suspect. The suspect then demanded he spoke to an officer that was at the previous call. Officer Black then began speaking to him about the call. After a short conversation about what led up to the previous call, the suspect then began shouting, "Since you like shooting, let's shoot then." And that's when he shot Alana Reviews. And that's when the aftermath happened.
Let me get this straight. Future, someone who was complaining about having been shot, takes an officer hostage, steals their weapon inside of Mission Row PD, is pretty much a fish in a barrel. And I want to understand.
So-
this
so
is blowing my mind.
He had
And
somehow...
instead of a negotiation to avoid being shot, he did something intentionally to get shot again?
Yes.
Not only that, apparently how... And I don't think this is a justified actual reasoning. So allegedly he was soft cuffed in the little cells to the left of the big cell.
Chat, imagine
He said to
every
Alana,
high command conversation
"I'm still hard,
was like this over the
but I'm
last
still
like 4
shackled. Can you
months.
come in here and unshackle me." Even though Alana would have had to have been the one to put him in soft cuffs anyway, so she should have remembered that. She then went in there to unshackle him, but he wasn't shackled, so she just fully took his cuffs off, to which he then took her hostage by threatening to smash her head against the wall, and then took a gun out of her holster and forced her to unlock the doors to get into the big cell, is what led up to the hostage situation.
Am I crazy in thinking? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think this is important. Did no one see this happening? Because how did we? I don't even know what
Well, there must
department,
have
but
been,
irrelevant.
because-
Us collectively, how did they go from the side to? You then have to unlock that door to get into the big area to get into the big cell. How is this done in front of officers and no
Well,
one's batting an eye?
At this point, right, he's already taken her gun and he's carrying her. So I suppose regardless of if it was seen or not after he'd left the initial cell, nothing could have been done because he
No,
was
when
quite
Ruby was
literally-
explaining this to me, it was taken in the cell, in the big cell.
No,
Hold
so
on,
he took Alana from the small cell
Yep.
at the end of the corridor and then carried her to the big cell. But
But
I
where
do
did he get the
believe
gun? The little cell or the big one?
the little cell. He pulled it out of the holster
that
and
makes,
then
that
forced
makes
her
sense. Yes.
to take him to the big cell. But at the same time, you are right in the sense, I believe there was another 95 in the big cell at the time. So there should have been at least one more processing officer in that room, right? You would have thought.
Minimum, yeah.
I mean,
Minimum.
holy shit,
I
maybe
was-
we need desk sergeant. Holy shit. You know, no one would want to do it. And I wouldn't want to do it either.
Do you know
that-
who would?
But you know how cool a fucking desk sergeant would be in the cells, making sure that everyone's like putting their evidence in, putting their photos in, making sure they're like holding cell areas, like, you know, like a full-on
Bill
desk
Mays
sergeant.
would have done it. Bill Mays would have done it.
Yeah, and he would have
Fuck!
mazed. Yeah, and he would have mazed it up somehow, and it would. I don't think it would have worked.
Damn it. Okay. Okay. So back to the what we're doing moving forward.
I think we
Um,
should write SOPs or update them and do some light training. If this is too much, let me know.
SOPs on what?
What is a scene lead, what the expectations of the scene lead are, as well as the processing officers. Come to an agreement on it, which I think we will, and do some light training on that. I feel like that is going to pay dividends across the board.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
I mean, is it crazy that like I sit here and go, like if you're first on a general scene, you are the primary and therefore the general scene lead because you have essentially the most information and you are essentially
Yes.
like the information gatherer for sort of all parties involved to some degree, unless they were entirely uninvolved. And even then you're still trying to get the full image before pushing these charges, right? So you're speaking with the
agree.
other officers who did see these things. But ultimately, that standard, as far as I can remember, has kind of just been first on scene.
All scenes need to.
Go ahead.
Oh, carry on. I was about to say, all scenes need to be treated like. You remember that time where we were all locked in the fucking that room there, the dispatch room, and like everyone was leading. Like it was. Every scene needs to be treated like a fucking situation where someone's going on a hag and everyone's every scene, regardless of what it is, should be treated like that. People pick and choose, and I, again, if you guys can think of suggestions to fix this, I don't think. I mean, I think it goes without saying, right? People pick and choose what's important to them, and once they've chose what's important, they will then lock in on that. We need to take away people's ability to pick what's important to them. And that's going to be a very hard task. But fundamentally, I would say 99% of the problems within law enforcement are people choosing what's important. And we have been too lax, myself included, definitely. We have been way too lax in allowing people to choose what's important to them, when the reality is everything should be equally important, and that should be enforced from above. And I'm guilty of it. I've done it myself, right? That is what I actually believe the main issue is.
That's double-edged sword, man. That is very much so double-edged sword.
It is a double-edged sword, right? But am I wrong?
You're not. You're not. I don't know that there is just an easy sort of cookie cutter solution for that. Primarily because, straight up, if I could, I would do traffic stops 24/7. I can't. And the reason I can't is because there's often a priority call that comes up. And we're talking late shift
Chat,
three
on a level of 1 to 10 in terms of productivity, how productive is this?
Again, I would love to, but the opportunity doesn't exactly present itself. However,
no, sorry.
Some people...
Wait, just before you carry on, because I think you took me wrong. I'm not saying people should pick and choose on what's important to them in terms of responding to calls. I'm saying if you've responded to a call, you can't pick and choose whether doing the work following up that call is important to you or not.
Yes, I agree.
I
agree
sorry,
with that wholeheartedly.
I didn't mean you can't do traffic stops anymore. Only respond to faceless. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, if you have responded to a call, you now treat that like it's a fucking faceless mission where 3 people have died and we're sending 4 people on hags.
You're not just going there because you're bored.
If you chose to respond to that, then you have responded to it. So from that point forward,
that's your opt-in.
It is important to you. You're in and you're finishing it, and you're not doing anything else until it's finished, is what I mean by picking and choosing. Sorry. I don't actually mean the actual, people can pick and choose wherever the fuck they want to go. But I'm saying once they've picked, that then needs to be enforced that you have opted in. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that falls back on exactly what we discussed earlier. Like, finish what you're doing before responding to the next thing, but assign it a high level priority, to ensure that it gets done in its entirety, not just a little bit here and a little bit there, doing it all at once so that the next time you respond to a call, you're free and clear of everything from that prior. Everyone should have that mindset. Unfortunately, that is not the mindset, but I think that's something that we should absolutely hit on, and push for changes moving forward. I didn't have much to discuss because today, like I said, has kind of been a bit of a shit show for me. I didn't make too much mention of things at the meeting, but these are things that absolutely need to be discussed. And honestly, maybe an overarching PD-wide announcement, elaborating on sort of these things that we want to see improved from people. I originally, I'll be honest, I think so many people are desensitized. I say this as someone who only has read announcements. Straight up, they're just all red. I never click the button. I'm a bad person for it, sure, but I've been desensitized to all these fucking announcements. I've seen fucking announcements regarding the most random of shit, and it triggers the fuck out of me because it takes the value away from these announcements, in my opinion. But that is one of them that is very important.
I just want to add as well, and I mean this in the best way I can possibly mean it, right?
Just so I can say it.
McQuillan was a good friend. He was actually my first sergeant in the BCSO as well. McQuillan has obviously died, right? However, we can find a silver lining in this unfortunate death, right? And what I mean by that, and I'm not being
agree.
insensitive here, right? This is a serious thing that has happened. And this serious thing has repercussions. And it has also pointed out to us as the heads of these departments, the deep-rooted issues that are reoccurring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can use this very sad death to create a mindset shift by talking about the seriousness of what it is, because it is very serious. Someone died due to bad process. Someone died due to bad scene leads. Someone died due to negligence. And it's shit that it's taken this situation for us three to sit at this table and discuss how we fix things moving forward. But it's always the case, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's
with
the whole
this,
saying.
with
Sorry,
this
go on.
situation, right? We can create the new mindset, because there's a lot of delicate, sensitive flowers around us. But with this, we can use this as the example to create the fuck around and find out mindset of look what fucking happened last time when we didn't follow process, when we didn't follow SOPs, when a scene was
I don't
shit.
disagree with that.
And
I
we
mean,
can now use
Yeah.
this situation to push our mindsets on people and quite literally say, the last time this wasn't done correctly, a good friend and a good fucking cop died. Get your ass off fucking duty until you fix this. I'm not letting that happen again. And then what the fuck are
Yeah.
people going to say? And again, I'm sorry to use McQuillan's name to do this, but it's the perfect time. Very unfortunately, again, I'm not saying it's a perfect situation, but it's the perfect time to make sure that we use this very unfortunate death to fix things. And listen, we can sit at this table and say, I'm going to do this. We're going to do this. If we don't follow up on what we're doing
Pointless.
here right now, then we are quite literally failing McQuillan.
I
And
agree.
that's not right.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's
Agreed.
what matters. We can be the most articulated, perfect fucking people saying exactly what all three of us want to hear right now. If in a week's time changes haven't happened, then what the fuck are we doing, right?
I mean, listen, there's a fairly well-known, saying of like rules and regulations are written in blood. I hate that it comes to that, but like
Consequences
realistically,
need to be
this has
normalized.
very
Yeah.
clearly pinpointed multiple different angles that we need to address in the PD as a whole, across all three departments. So I say we follow through with everything that we've discussed. And quite frankly, I think this is going to have to start at the P&T department to ensure that people who are first coming in are having this drilled into them from the very start, and not a one-off here with this FTO, and maybe you get this mentioned to you by another weeks down the road, but like fully drilled into you from the very beginning.
I agree.
Okay.
Has Bruce contacted y'all too about this thing? I'm just reading his. He said, "Hey, there's something we can all work on together." So I got the ball rolling for LSPD and BCSO2 already. BCSO's. I told them leave it to just SASM.
No.
Okay.
I haven't spoken with Bruce at all.
Who did you speak with?
The only mention,
I'll have a chat with him. He shouldn't be doing that to begin with.
So I don't know if it has anything to do with it. I made mention of the second most recent announcement regarding firearms in a report. So I don't know if that was like, I'm not sure, but like it's just mention of, if you have a statement, put it in. Also, if you have a firearm, make sure it's in the locker. So I don't know if that was anything. I have no idea.
Okay.
What's he looking into specifically? Or was trying to?
I'm asking him right now. It kind of
Okay.
took me aback by saying I approached LSPD and BCSO as well. I need to make sure he's not doing too much.
It could have been a conversation with like Maxwell or something. I don't have any context though.
Who are you demoting?
You're talking about my high command?
Spill the tea.
I don't know.
Now you know.
I don't
you
know.
Because if you said to me, Frost, if I said I'm going to demote some people and you said to me, Frost, who are you demoting? I would know who I'm going to demote.
I genuinely, I don't have anything solidified. Things are very much so up in the air. But I do have an ask of you guys. And that is a transfer freeze so that people don't just immediately go, I lost my rank, I'm transferring, whatever. I want people to at least see it out. And if they still feel the same after the transfer freeze is over, I will take zero issue with anyone transferring.
Holy shit, you've got Knight, the poached goblin side of this table right now.
Well, so firstly, let's address that. SASM over the last 4 months has had to deal with, I'm going to be rather forward here, complaining, I could use other words, but I'll say complaining, that there aren't enough marshals, and then there's too much marshals, while simultaneously having to take on the bulk of these major scenes and doing the paperwork behind it, while not, I mean, look, if someone wants to be a marshal, I can't stop them, right? It's a different line of work. So I kind of take the poaching thing pretty seriously.
I mean, it's not.
The work's got to get done, right? Like, the alternative is...
Hey, Carmine, can you do me a favor and
It's
fuck off?
an
We're
urgent
having an
message.
important meeting,
It's
okay?
CJ. The Chief Justice would like. Can I?
Okay. You have to...
Just have him come in here he'll get 30 seconds tops.
You got 15 seconds, Carmine.
The
Chief!
time's ticking, Carmine. Quick.
Chief, the Chief Justice would like to speak to all of you three, the three of you, the leaders of your respected houses. She wishes to discuss a matter of legislation.
How the fuck are you coming in here bearing bad news? Fuck off, Carmine.
I'm just letting you know what she had. I'm just letting.
Get
I'm
out!
just bearer. I'm just
Get
a bearer
out,
of the
come
message.
on.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you for the heads up. Make sure that door's closed, please. Okay. So what I was saying is, for example, Vale approached me and I made it very clear to her. I'm a very firm mindset that if someone feels they're going to be better off elsewhere, I'm never going to tell them no. But the purpose of the transfer freeze isn't to...
oh, I see.
Like,
okay.
It's for the purpose of like allowing people to see the situation through without jumping to conclusions.
Yeah,
At the end of that transfer freeze, they feel it appropriate. By all means, I'm not opposed to.
I didn't hear the
anywhere.
transfer freeze bit. I just kind of.
Oh yeah. No, the whole thing was transfer related stuff. I did not bring up any poaching stuff because, quite frankly, I don't care. I would never want to feel responsible for anyone feeling as though they're being held back.
Hello?
Oh my God.
Hello? I have a message. I don't want to enter.
You see, this is what lack of accountability causes. You see this?
Hello?
One moment. Yes, Peters. You're obeying the sign. I'm in a meeting. What's up? I know the Chief Justice wants to talk to all three of us. Is she here? Were you informed by her or Carmine?
I was definitely not informed by Carmine.
Okay. Okay. As soon as we wrap up this conversation, we will reach out to the Chief Justice.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for the heads up. I appreciate it.
I'm obeying you
Thank you.
really hard.
Okay. Goodbye, Peters.
I just kind of want to put this on the table, right? Like,
Go ahead.
hope y'all understand that there is a very big increase in state level investigations, right? And each one of those things take people, right? And if I'm going to be honest, I think even across all three departments, we don't have the resources needed to handle all of it, right? At least in a fashion where the quality remains up, especially if it ends up going to court. Ultimately leads me to two solutions, right? One is recruiting fresh and training, which is unrealistic. The second is transfers. But any sort of like poaching talk, I mean, it would have to make sense. I think when it comes to kind of the long term, when it comes to that is, and we should have that conversation, is making sure we have an avenue that includes all three departments in these things so that not one is left with the entirety of the bag, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And, but I think a transfer freeze makes a lot of sense.
This is bad.
Well, what's up?
The reason the Chief Justice wants to meet with us is there is legislation being wrote about a commissioner role for the PDs.
How is it that every time things are like smooth sailing, like, you know what I mean?
That's my head into a fucking wall.
Oh my
It's gonna
god!
fucking happen. I'm gonna end up with CTE.
What?
That seems very.
Who's proposing this?
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. Nova just texts me saying urgent legislative meeting. Everyone's talking about writing up a commissioner role for PD.
Wait, that
And we've
doesn't.
had
That doesn't make
two-
any sense. Who proposed that? Wait. That doesn't make any sense
Wait,
because
Who do you think proposed it, actually?
I don't think it'd be either mayor.
I think it would have been Kyle Brett.
I don't think it's. I don't want to think too deep into it. I mean, that inherently makes very little sense given the governor's statements on legislation surrounding the choosing of the chief of police and all that kind of jazz. So for there to be a proposal, that very much sounds like. I mean, let's hear Angel out. Let's see.
Again, not to talk about the elephant in the room. Well, it's not an elephant in the room yet. Well, I guess there is, but this isn't it. I mean this in the best way possible. Rhodes, for the betterment of the PDs, I want to contest being a sub-authority. I think it causes unnecessary drama, and I actually don't see the reasoning to have a department be a sub-authority. I don't think it makes sense.
You're saying, just for what it's worth, yeah, I'm on board. I don't give a fuck.
Because you know what I would like? And I would like this both ways. I would like if my department does something dumb or your department does something dumb, I would like there to be instant corrections. And that can't happen. I feel so many things can't happen because of this sub-authority thing. And I actually can't think of a reason for us not to be on an equal footing.
There is no reason other than just respecting the fact that it's written in legislation as such. That is quite literally it.
Can I be truthful here?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like this is distracting away from. I don't want to get in the middle of that conversation. I think that's between y'all two and your mayors.
Okay, must be
but,
easy as the ultimate authority.
I mean, you say that, but holy fuck.
We'll be equally sub-authorities to the marshals.
I just don't want to distract away from, the other stuff.
No,
in regards to the scene lead stuff, I think we should assign someone that understands, is on the same page of, I think, the three of us in terms of what that is, and have them write up a document. Because I know the three of us aren't going to do it, right? But I think we should assign it to make sure it does get sorted. So, I want to make sure we have action coming out of this very productive meeting.
Well, if we want to get it sorted, it goes to Jenna, Ruby and like Sparks or Ruth, no?
Yeah.
Put those three in a room and miracles will happen.
Should I bullet point some things we agree on and then ask someone to cook it?
I've
Does that
already
work
been
for you?
doing that because I know that I'm so forgetful. I've been bullet pointing the most important facts of this meeting to Jenna, and she's already cooking as we speak.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Huh.
All right.
I've also been taking notes here. Lots of
Wait, so is Jenna writing these? Because how will she know what we've discussed here, right?
She's got brief bullet points. I've sent her brief bullet points of some of the things we've agreed on to remind me to go through them with her. And then I'm going to go through them with her.
Okay. Do you mind reading what that is for the scene lead?
I said, 1, weapon audits for all departments. 2, prioritizing calls, stop spreading ourselves thin. 3, people to do statements, photos, evidence while processing, not going straight to next ping. 4, SOPs on scene leads, expectations, processing officers, come to a mutual agreement, do training on it. They're my 4 points so far.
I
You can
would
combine
like
2 and
to
3.
do one a little bit better. I think the three of us need to review what that scene lead's responsibilities are in advance of it turning into an SOP, because, you know,
We all need to be on the same page regarding that
Exactly.
expectation. If
Yeah.
the possibility exists that any one of the 3 departments can be the lead of whatever fucking scene it is.
yes, 100%.
For sure.
Yeah, and
But
having those
you're-
expectations like sorted out and agreed on by the three of us would prevent. Jenna's great, right? But she may have a perspective of what it is, and we may not necessarily.
We need
agree.
to create the perspective to be expanded on.
So, so it doesn't create like animosity, right? Like I don't want Jenna to go create this, and then we're like, we don't agree with half of it. It's going to be demoralizing.
No,
for
I
her.
agree. We
right?
need to. Yeah, I mean, I'll help her with it regardless.
Let me. How about I put together some bullet points? Y'all add to it. We share it, and we get it approved by end of day.
Yeah, let's do
Works
that.
for me.
Okay,
Works for me too.
easy. All right.
I think it should be easier than we think. I mean, it's enough in the name, right? Lead the scene from start to finish and ensure everything's done.
Yeah, but
Just-
the
It just
start
needs
to
to be
finish thing.
expanded on the.
Yeah, the start to finish thing doesn't apply to just the scene lead though. That's applying to everyone in the situation.
Yeah, but the scene lead's job should be the one to enforce that.
To ensure,
no?
yeah.
Have you done yours? Like it should literally be a case of if you are leading a scene, like let's open up, like for example, 23344, right? The Alana reviews hostage situation. If you are leading a scene, you should be the one writing LEOs involved. As the scene lead, you should have the basic of this report done straight away, and then just because as a scene lead you've done your statement and you've added which law enforcement officers are involved, doesn't mean it should end for you. It should now be your job to, okay, I was the scene lead on that. Let me put a reminder somewhere. I've added all the law enforcement officers involved. I've prompted them all to do their statements. I'm now going to recheck this scene that I led 24 hours later to ensure that it's closed. Is
Yeah,
what,
if you're a scene lead, you are quite literally playing an RTS. You are playing a real-time
Yeah.
strategy game.
And it needs a
You're
two-point
responsible
process.
for everything.
Because I'll be honest, I've done the exact same, right? I've been a scene lead. I've done my thing. I put down my primary. I put my statement. I've added the officers involved, blah, blah, blah. For me, that's now closed. I think, okay, I've done my bit. But what I think we need to do is we need to change the mindset of you don't just need to finish what you're doing as the scene lead. This should be a two-point process. The first point being make sure that I've added everything that I possibly can, including my statement and evidence that I've got and officers involved at the time of the situation. Now, the second point process should be, I'm going to write this in a notepad. I'm going to put an alarm on my phone. I'm going to remember it however the fuck I remember things. I'm going to leave a pillow at my bedroom door. So when I wake up, I'll see that pillow and think, oh yeah, that fucking report. I'm then going to check it 24 hours later. I'm like, okay, I had Ravon, D, Bubba, Lucas, Ravon. They were on scene. Let's have a look. Oh shit, Ravon hasn't done his statement. Now I'm going to call him. And now I'm going to put it in. And that should realistically, with the scene lead doing that, that should automatically change the process from 72 hours to complete your report to 24 hours, because they are checking at a 24-hour point and then ensuring that the missing statements are then put in, right? And a big thing like signposting, for example, like I'll touch on a second thing. If they're signposted that there isn't there in 24 hours, then like, that's at the top of your head. Then we can hold people accountable.
Actually, let me bring up a point about that. Actually, you know,
I lost track after the pillow.
Yeah, I
never do that?
I think we need to distill what you're saying. I think we all have an idea what it is. We just need to distill it into easy to consume bullet points. Otherwise, A, people aren't going to read it, and B, because this has to be communicated, right? We may have a collective idea of what this process should look like because we've been around for a while. But we need to distill this into easy to consume SOPs so that anyone from a PPO up knows what the expectation is, right?
Did you just call them peons?
No, PPO. Oh, I don't think I said peons.
That's what I heard.
Peons.
To that point, though,
I thought it was in regards to the RTS stuff I mentioned before. Sorry.
We no longer have we don't have a good way to figure out who's on a scene.
No, and that's where
we used to, not anymore.
So I mean, that's an easy fix, right? In my opinion. So we create a culture where the scene lead should add the majority of the people. He should know he should know a majority of people who are involved in the scene. I know sometimes.
How are you ever going to know that?
No, so this is where it extends, right? We have to make an announcement, and we have to create a culture that if you were involved on a scene, out of your memory, while you're doing your statement, in the officers involved, just start adding people. Like, the scene lead, it might have been a 30 cops involved. However, I was with Knight and Rhodes at the time. I'm going to add myself. I'm also going to add Knight and Rhodes. And then that's like 3 dealt with, right? We just need to make sure that everyone is doing their part. These situations are team efforts, right? They're not just like, I'm going to do my bit and then leave it. That's where we need to stray away from. I'm a law enforcement officer. I actually am in an entitled position. I should show some pride in my work, and I should do as much as I can, right? And if that's literally just us pushing it and fucking shoving it down their throats and making announcements at meetings and making an announcement on the MDT just to make sure that people are doing that, it's going to help. Now, it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be one guy who didn't speak on the radio and just turned up for the pursuit 15 and then thought, fuck this, and left, right? That's going to happen. But if we push for everyone to just start adding people that they remember as an SOP, as part of their job, then it will help a bit.
I don't disagree with I don't disagree with what you're saying. If I sound like non-enthusiastic, it's only I'm hyper focused on do we have any food? Anyone have food?
Yeah.
Yep.
We need to put these into bullet points, right? So we can look at it, right? But going back to the what is this? Do you have any other food?
No, just chocolate.
Shit.
Yeah, I got you.
Try it. It's nice. I made it.
Yeah. We used to have a way that we could actually tell who was on a scene. Do you know what I'm talking about, Rhodes? Like, how the fuck did that work back in the day? Remember, we used to, like, on the old MDTs, we used to know, like, who's, like, what. Like, you get tagged in a report, and you knew that you had to do something.
Wasn't it because correct me if I'm wrong, if you got tagged, wasn't there a notification
Yes.
that you were tagged in the report? But additionally, what made it easier is that when you went to go and tag people, the only people that would show up immediately were on, or at least at the top of the list, were on-duty officers. So selecting from a group of people became considerably easier as opposed to having to, on a whim, figure out whose call sign is what their name was. Let's say there's a new cadet or PPO, tagging them is more complicated because you need to know who they are as opposed to looking at a list of people who are currently on duty when making that report, which realistically should be 99% of the time, right? The moment you put up a report, you should see an overwhelming majority of the people who were involved in that. And all you do is click, 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 click.
What if the solution here is, unless there's extenuating circumstances, a report needs to be created immediately by somebody, right? Let's take banks. Let's take a bank truck. Let's take majority of these scenes. There isn't any reason why a report isn't immediately thrown up for evidence to start getting thrown in, right? People are taking photos. People are like, someone in the back waiting while the stuff is happening, like putting the names in there, right? Typing in the scene lead. Maybe the onus becomes on the officers that are attaching to put their name as officer involved. Is that a simpler solution than putting the weight on the scene lead?
The reason I say I don't think that's so ideal is because in a bank truck situation where there's time, yes. Or like if there's a hostage situation, but if we're talking like we're late and it's immediate pursuit, the likelihood of that being practical is very slim, I think.
But could the scene lead not just be like, yo, someone throw up a report, right? Like if I'm in the call, like, oh my God, faceless, because I do this even with faceless stuff, right? So in SASM, I demand, like in these scenes, that someone throw up a report, primarily to capture the timestamp. Yeah. And I feel like that can be applied to most situations because there will be someone passenger princessing or anyone can throw it up. And if the scene lead just requests it and whoever's throwing up the report, it's as simple as, faceless bombing, blah, 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 scene lead, Brian Knight, then boom, there's a capture point. And as evidence is getting gathered, right? Because the scene could be anywhere from 30 minutes to like 3 hours, right? As evidence is getting collected, it's a place for people to start putting their stuff in. I don't know. It's not a perfect solution, but I'm just kind of
I'm not opposed, but I think that just comes down to like, the general scenarios, right? Like if we're doing
oh, the chocolate. I ate the churros.
Do you need food?
No,
I was.
I'm not chocolate.
There you go.
Yes.
I think that just comes down to the whole like scene lead conversation that we were having and ensuring that reports are going up. And the thing is, in a lot of these scenarios, say a Polito hostage situation, like Polito Bank, right? Like there's going to be photos that we want. There's going to be a hostage statement or a victim statement that we want documented, regardless of whether or not they get caught. So it's not a tall ask, realistically.
It just comes back to like again, and I hate to keep saying this, I know you don't like touching on it. It comes to people picking what's important, right? Because you know what, as soon as there's a situation where it's going to bench trial, hey, I'll tell you, that scene lead who's going to bench, he will find every fucker who was on that scene and he will get a statement in that report. You know what I mean? Like
will happen.
But it will happen because guess what? It's going to bench. So it's now forced to be important to them. You know what I mean?
Are you okay?
Oh, what the fuck?
Shit.
You're not throwing up in my eye. I just got this soundproof.
Oh, shit. No, I took a shit. I shitted my pants just now.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm actually feel detox.
You're not. Do not take a seat. Frost, hello? Are you okay?
Well, yeah.
Brother, you just took a shit all over the place.
Yeah, I shitted my pants. It must have been those fucking churros you gave me.
I'm gonna throw up. Holy
shit, this guy's seen multiple dead bodies and And a bit of shit is what's made him throw up.
We need to have the conversation outside. I can't.
Yeah. What's up? Let's go. Yeah, that's. You can move over here. This has been very productive. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I agree. Ross, you might want to go to the showers, bud.
Yeah, I'll be back. I've got some spare clothes here.
Is he really just gonna?
I don't fucking know.
Is he okay?
I don't know.